On this episode of Captain's Tales, we're wading and casting the flats of the Indian River for nuggets of silver. Our target, the wily Florida Pompano.
Wow, when he saw it was me, he ran. I love a smooth drag. Hey buddy, looks like he's hooked well. Glad somebody's doing their job. Great fish. This is a big pompano. Nice fish.
Throughout maritime history, there have been experts on the water who knew how to navigate and locate their bounty. These individuals held the secrets to where, when, and how. This still holds true today. Get ready for an angling experience filled with sea secrets, fantastic fishing, and great destinations. For on this show, it's only the captain and the camera. On this charter, our captain is a pioneer of the soft plastic fishing lure, Captain Mark Nichols. Captain Mark is best known for his invention, research, and development of D.O.A. lures. He's a man of honor and conviction, and he is highly regarded in the world of fishing. Wading is a stealthy fishing technique to target and catch the Florida Pompano that are located in the deep cuts and strong tidal currents along the shallow sandbars of the Indian River.
These fish, it's like catching a fish in a stream. They're in a hard current, they pull great, and of course pompano have that big round body to them. And there's two things we like about them. Ooh, I think this might be a nice pompano. It's a very nice pompano. You know, this is taking out some nice drag. Pompano just don't like to quit. One of the cool things about him. Ooh, and he really doesn't like to get in this shallow water. It's like, ooh, I have to get nervous when I get over there. We have some extremely good sized pompano here. This would be one of those. A lot of folks, when they get a big fish like this, they get real excited and they want to grab on that drag or they want to tighten that drag. You just got to keep a constant simple pressure on that fish and you've got a chance of landing him. If you try to horse him, he's got a good chance of winning. Now don't make a liar out of me, fish. Come here. Come here, pretty fish. I refer to this as they're a beautiful fish, they're a great fighting fish. They're excellent on the table too. This is a big pompano. Nice fish. He's got that little pinch weight down there in his mouth. And that's what he ate. Hey buddy, thank you for working with us. Yep. I look at these and I say, you know what this is called? This is called dinner. So I'll cast, make sure I let it get down, then I just want to hop it up off the bottom and keep it close to the bottom. If I get the bait way up, or say I use my shrimp or a cow bait, I'd also be catching a whole lot of jacks and bluefish and that sort of thing. By using something small and keeping it down, I'm keeping it where the pompano are. Come here, you. Beautiful fish. not like coming up in the shallow water. Beautiful. Not a lot of fish I kill a lot, but pompano, they taste great. They're great fighting fish. They're just great baking. You can put a little salad dressing on it and some crumbs and throw it in the oven, and anybody can think they're a good cook when they fix these babies up. So not only are they fun, I think it's one of the better fish for recreational fishing because of the fact that there's plenty of them. You're not going to hurt the population. They're a migratory fish. They won't be here all year, but we've had a great run of them this winter. Even though the weather's nasty outside, we can come out here and fish these troughs and fish very effectively and catch them and have a great time. And I'm going to release this one right into the cooler. A pompano has approximately 23 anal rays. These rays down here where my little finger is. A permit has 21. That's really one of the only true ways you can tell whether it's a pompano or a permit, and they do run together. That's why they say it's either a pompano or a permit for your mixed bag, because unless you can literally count those rays, you don't know. Some people will say, oh, one's yellower than the other. That's strictly their environment they're in as to whether they're going to be yellow or silver. But other than that, the anal rays are the official way to tell, but doesn't really matter. This one's going in that cooler over there, and he'll be in an oven this evening.
Captain Mark's enthusiastic love for angling and the natural world permeates his life and everyone around him. We'll be right back with more Indian River Pompano.
Today we're going to go pompano fishing. Pompano are fun. They pull hard, they eat well, they're a great fish for the average recreational fisherman. As far as harvesting pompano go, there are certain fish that I have no problem harvesting. They propagate like rabbits. There's lots of them. So when we go fishing today, we're going to be using basically something that we can get down to the bottom quickly and just scuff along the bottom. I could use a lot of my different lures for this, but we'll probably primarily be fishing some troughs. And these troughs, I want to get that lure to the bottom and the tide will be moving out hard. So I want it to get down and stay down. Therefore, I'll tend to use something like, this is a hook. This is the shrimp hook. This is my 1/4 ounce shrimp hook. I literally could slide it out. First time I did it, this is what I did. I slid the hook right out of my shrimp. I took one of our pinch weights. This is a 1/4 ounce pinch weight. Chartreuse and orange seem to be the magic colors for these fish. I put that shank right in the pinch weight there. I bend these tabs over. And now I've got a lure. It don't look like much. Oops, let me pinch that on a little bit better. I get constantly asked, folks will say, and then you put a piece of shrimp on that? And I go, no, 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 no. This is it, right here. You tie this on, you throw it out there. It's going to sink very quickly because obviously there's very little resistance. It's all lead. So it's going to drop to the bottom and it's going to hold on the bottom very well. That's where my pompano are going down there, looking along the bottom. This drifts and sweeps across the tide, and it's right in their face. This is a sustain, little Shimano sustain. It's a 4000. I like the 4000 because I like the larger spool. A smaller spool the line has to come off faster, therefore I don't get as good a casting distance. The larger spool lets me get some great casting distance. This is a really nice Loomis rod, very sensitive tip. I really like. When they came out with braided line, I suddenly came to realize I could use a much lighter tip, which lets me load up the lure, lets me cast it further, but with braid and no stretch. When I feel the fish strike, it is a very distinct strike. There's no doubt that the fish ate. gives me a chance to set the hook very easily, because when I jerk it, that lure responds directly to my jerk, whereas opposed to mono, there's so much give that you have to almost over-accentuate everything. With the braid, you jerk it, it moves. You feel that fish strike, you stick them, you stick them. It's good and effective. Typically, I'm going to use somewhere around a 20 to 30 pound leader. Since I do have bluefish in the area, I'm always going to respect, and this is easily 30 pound leader. A lot of folks will say, oh, you need a super light leader for a pompano. Not true at all. A good fluorocarbon is going to do the job. I personally have used Seaguar for years. It works. It ain't broke. I don't need to fix it. All leaders, typically when I start my day, I'm going to be fishing around a 3-foot leader. I don't want to crank that leader knot into my guides. If somebody does that and I hear it on my boat and it's my rod, I will cut that leader where it's this long so they will not crank that knot into the guides. When you hear that, you're going to destroy your guides, and you're going to also weaken your knot by slamming it against that ceramic guide. So it's a win-win thing to keep that knot out of the guides. As far as length goes, though, if I'm out there fishing and those fish are cooperating and they're eating real well, I may retie and only end up with this much leader. But if they're still eating, I don't care, because they're still eating. If they quit eating, then I'm going to go ahead and retie, build myself a new longer leader, and start from there. I typically tie a triple surgeons. My line to leader knot, it is easy, it is simple, it is fast. And typically I'm going to tie a loop knot on here. This one isn't, or it probably was and slipped down. But I will tie a loop knot, which is basically the knot that I tie is basically a bowline knot. It's you go through the eye of the hook. If you want to see something really cool, folks, I can put the tip of the leader between my thumb and forefinger. I can look at a camera. I can feel that go through the eye by setting the groove of that eye of that hook in the groove of my fingers. And with the tip of the leader down there, I just rotate it up and it goes right through the eye of the hook. I go through the eye. I do a backwards loop, a second backwards loop, second one through the front of the first one, and tag in through the front of that second loop. I hold the tag in stationary and just lift up on my leader. That's a fixed loop knot. Tag in points rearward, doesn't tend to grab grass. There's a good chance today with this wind that it's going to start turning up a lot of what I call snot grass. It's kind of an algae that starts to lay on the surface of the grass this time of year. When the tide starts moving, it'll start rolling. Every advantage I can have to keep that grass from hanging on my lure, I'm going to take advantage of every chance I can to do so. And that loop knot makes that very easy. Good friend of mine is Rufus Wakeman. Rufus owns River Palms Fish Camp and Cottages. Rufus is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He's one of the best people for conservation in this state. He has donated time, money, his phenomenally beautiful place here, River Palms Fish Camp and Cottages. I was raised in Texas. I'd go to a fish camp. First thing you do is shoot the roaches off the wall. You come here, I got married here. The place is beautiful. It's spectacular. He's got dockage facilities. We launched our boat in a boat launch probably conservatively 250 yards away from where the fish camp is. I can't say enough good about the folks. They've always been very good to us. They've been very good to all fishermen in this state, all conservation-oriented type projects, kids, everything else. Wow, when he saw it was me, he ran. I love a smooth drag. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you for being a smooth drag. This is another nice pompano. That's all I have to say about it. We switched to the orange pinch weight by popular demand. Ooh, fish is camera shot. He saw that it was me. He goes, "That's the guy that eats them." All right. get down tide in this current, and they're pulling with that tide, and that big broad body just makes them fight that much better. Not quite as big as the others, but still a very nice pompano. Hey buddy, looks like he's hooked well. Glad somebody's doing their job. Another beautiful fish. Switch to the highly technical orange pinch weight. Oop, easy now. Another beautiful little pompano. Great fish. Little orange pinch weight. It ain't rocket science. The pompano is a jack with a small mouth. If he can get his mouth over it, he's going to eat it just like any other member of the jack family. That's what I think about it all. I got to catch another one. That's enough talking. That's that TV talk stuff. Had a very hard east wind, and it's pushing the water in over here on the east coast. And it wasn't letting the water fall out. So it took a little longer for the tide to get moving out than normal. So once the tide started moving out, nothing's happening when the tide's not moving, but once the tide started moving out again, these fish are going to start to work their way back up in that tide the way they're supposed to do. And that's what these fish are doing right now. I just stumped another nice fish, switched over to my green water here. One of my favorite rods, got a nice light tip on it. See, there's a lot of, I call it snot grass, maybe not the most nicest way to say it, but this real loose, slimy algae type stuff going through the water. And I can let my bait go down tide to a certain extent, and then it's going to start grabbing that stuff, and it's going to get all gummed up. So even if you trim your tag end of your leader real tight, this guy ate it. He ate that orange. It's down in there. They don't like that. For some reason, I guess if I was a fish and something grabbed me by the tail, I probably wouldn't like it either. Hard to blame them for that. Come on over here. Let's get a picture of you. Make you famous. What do you say? Beautiful fish. Gorgeous animal. Great fighter. Great food fish. Makes everybody happy. Life is good. It's a marlin. Oh no, it's the wrong time of year for marlin. I guess it's another pompano. Imagine that. What a beautiful fish. Flick, flick. These fish, probably on this drag right now, we may have 2 pounds of pressure at the most, which is just really what you want. This fish isn't going to go anywhere. So if you put too much pressure, as I was talking earlier, I had a little too much pressure on a fish. I had my drag set a little tight, and this drag is set perfectly at this point. Gives me, I can easily get them up to me. But I don't have too much pressure where I'm going to, like I said earlier, these fish can make a very quick bolt. They'll be coming right at you, and all of a sudden they'll go, see them, like that, right there. I love it when they actually work with me that way. Because of just that. Another beautiful pompano. Hey buddy, good morning. How are you today? Having kind of a bad day? Beautiful fish. Good. He had one of his little lower fins there kind of destroyed. Beautiful fish. Life is good.
Try one more fishing spot online. Log on to www.captainstales.com. Closed captioning brought to you by Moonlighter Push Poles and Nets. Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales, and try one more fishing spot online. Log on to www.captainstales.com.